Doesn't. I like it when things are in the bottom line. I like it when things are simple. So if you're a bottom line type of person, you're really going to love this series. There's an Old Testament prophet named Micah. And Micah, in one of the most famous verses of his book, Micah 6:8, gives us the bottom line for serving the Lord in 2023. 3 practices that we can place in our lives and begin to practice in 2023 that will help us serve the Lord in a powerful way. Let's read it together, Micah chapter 6 and verse 8. Would you read it with me this morning? Know, O people, the Lord has told you what is good, and this is what He requires of you. Here we go. To do what is right, to love mercy, and to walk humbly with your God. Let's read that verse one more time, because those are the 3 things. To do, next verse, there you go. Part B, to do what is right, to love mercy, and to walk humbly with your God. You know, if you get those 3 things right in 2023, you're going to serve Jesus in a powerful way. Do what's right, walk humbly, love mercy. Amen? Do the right things. 3 things we're going to talk about over the next 3 weeks. Number 1, do the right thing. That's today. Number 2, be kind to everyone. And number 3, walk in humility. Can we do that in 2023? We're going to do the right thing. We're going to be kind to everybody. And we're going to walk in humility. Now, Micah is a very interesting character in the Old Testament. He is a small-town country boy who was called to become a prophet, and his book is written to the entire kingdom of Israel, the divided kingdom, and he is in his book calling them back to God. And what's so interesting about the Old Testament prophets is, by the world's definition, most of them were not successful because the huge majority of Old Testament prophets were not listened to. You have Hosea, you have Amos, and they were basically ignored. They lived their lives and proclaimed their message, and they were ignored. You have the great prophet Jeremiah, who's called the weeping prophet. He wasn't ignored by any means. He was just imprisoned. They locked him up. They didn't listen. Micah is one of the great exceptions in Old Testament prophets in that the people actually listened to Micah. How many would like to have been in his position? Finally, the message got through. Micah prophesied during the Old Testament reign of King Hezekiah. And because of his preaching and Hezekiah's leadership and love for God, disaster in the nation of Israel was pushed off for a century. Hear that. When the people turned to God, disaster was avoided, and they lived in peace for another 100 years. That might be something we as a nation need to hear. Following the Lord will avert disaster in our communities and in our nation. But Micah was listened to, and I'm excited about that. This verse is one of his most famous verses, and today we're going to talk about doing the right thing. Now,